Hello and good evening. My name is Lisa Klaslow. I'm with the Lupus Society of Illinois. I'm the Community Relationship Manager. Tonight, we are going to do a presentation called Resources for the Lupus Community, and it is brought to you by Mari Gonzalez. Before we get started, I will just give a little bit of an overview, some things that we have going on at LSI, and some upcoming events. A little bit about tonight's presentation. This event is for educational and informal purposes only and serves to benefit our mission. The Lupus Society of Illinois does not provide medical advice or recommendations. This information should not be substituted or replaced by expert medical care. Before making changes to your medical care, consult a qualified healthcare professional familiar with your medical condition and health status. We have an upcoming event on June 15th. It is in Pilsen. It is a Spanish-speaking event, and presenter will be Irene Blanco. If you are available to go, please check out our website. Sorry, unfortunately, my photo is not there, but go to LSI, the www.lupusil.org to register. LSI's 50th anniversary is this year. So if you have any great flashback photos, your favorite memories, wants to send us a congratulations, go onto our website, or you can email me, lisa@lupusil.org, to share these memories, moments, and stories, because we want to highlight you and all the great things that we've done for the last 50 years for the lupus community. Tonight's presentation is brought to you by you guys, the donations that we receive from you all. So thank you so much for your donations and your support for the last 50 years. It keeps us going and motivated, and we're so excited to keep going and be able to raise lupus awareness and educate you all and offer free programs like tonight. The Lupus Walks are back. This year, we will have 2 walks, one in the western suburbs in Naperville on August 12th and our Chicago walk on September 30th. So be sure to register, get your teams going. We have great incentive prizes, raffles, all sorts of fun things. DJ Rick is back, so make sure to bring your dancing shoes and your dogs and your kids, because it's a great family day for everyone. If you are part of the walk and you want to help with the planning, like I said just now with the raffle prizes and everything, contact me to join one of the committees. So each walk we do offer special things. So we want to make things personalized for the community. So if you're interested, contact me and we will get you involved in our next meetings. If you are interested in running the Chicago Marathon or would like more information, reach out to Mary at lupusil.org for our lupus charity runner. So this year we will have 30 participants running the Chicago Marathon to raise lupus awareness for LSI. Volunteer and internship opportunities. So here's, if you want to volunteer or like it says internship, contact us. We're always looking for volunteers and help in the office. All right, so we're going to get started just in a second on our presentation, but I want to tell you a little bit about Mari Gonzalez. She's a mom, daughter, sister, comadre, aunt, friend, Chicagoan, patient advocate, patient navigator, and support group leader to 3 lupus support groups under the Lupus Society of Illinois. Aside from all these titles, she also lives and suffers from so many illnesses. Ever since 2012, she was diagnosed with SLE, fibromyalgia, Raynaud's, Sjogren's, migraine, hypothyroidism, asthma, carpal tunnel, hiatal hernia, GERD, anxiety, and depression. She's only 48 years old and has been living with these illnesses for many years now. Fortunately, she has a great support system with her family and friends. She takes about 30 pills a day, and her mom and daughter are her best friends and caretaker. 5 years after being diagnosed with many of these illnesses, she had to walk away from her employment. Walking away from working a 9-to-5 job was difficult. Now putting all her spoons into education, empowering, and sharing her knowledge of these illnesses with other patients and their caretakers. Her social media is under Lupus Spoons, and she lives by the Lupus Spoon theory. With that being said, I am going to introduce Mari Gonzalez, the LSI Lupus Navigator.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for joining us tonight, Mari.
You need to take a hot minute for that introduction with all the illnesses, the
Right.
list of illnesses. Hi, how are you guys? Yes, I am the lupus patient navigator for Lupus Society of Illinois. And I have few slides, and I want to tell you everything that I do on for the lupus community. And it's really for autoimmune too, because many people in my support groups that attend my support groups don't even have lupus. Some have fibromyalgia, some have MS, some have just Raynaud's. So we all go through the same thing, and so that's why I include other people. You just don't have to be a patient for lupus, and caregivers are totally welcome. So here's a little bit of what I do, and I'll talk about lupus and what the Lupus Society of Illinois does, and resources available in the community of Illinois. First of all, there's 4 types of lupus. The most common one is SLE, which is systemic lupus erythematosus. This one affects our body, including our joints, our skin. Many of us get a rash in the shape of a butterfly on our face. It's called a malar rash. It affects our kidneys, our hearts, our lungs, our blood vessels, our brain. We can get strokes and blood clots. And you have periods of flare-ups, and flare-ups are painful days. But then we also get pain-free days. And that's the unpredictability that this illness has. That one day you'll be fine, and the next day you're in massive pain. Like Lisa said, I live by the lupus spoon theory. By the spoon theory with all my illnesses. So if one day you use too many spoons, that means you use too much energy. You're paying for it for a couple days with fatigue and pain. Anyone that gets these, 9 times out of 10, they're women. Men do get it. 10% of people that have it are men. When men get it, it's a little bit stronger. It's a little bit more serious. And my theory is because a lot of doctors don't think that men will get it. So a lot of times they'll categorize it as a woman's disease, which is totally wrong. So they're not looking for lupus in men. And by that time, the lupus has attacked many organs of men. And the main people the population that it affects, it's African American, Hispanic, Asian, Native American. So it's pretty tough. And the other lupus is cutaneous lupus. That one affects the skin. You get rashes on your skin. It can be anywhere on your body, or it can be on your face. Like I said, the malar, the butterfly rash. And it worsens with exposure of UV light. So it's just not the sun. Just think of that. It's not the sun. Fluorescent lights at home, fluorescent lights in your office building, in your school. If you're younger and you're in a classroom and you're always getting tired, or you get flare-ups while you're in class or right after class, check out the lights in that classroom. And we should always wear SPF. I always listen to Dr. Thomas, and he always says that we should have a shot glass full of SPF. 15 minutes, apply it 15 minutes before you go outside. So it's giving enough time for the SPF to go in and penetrate through your skin to protect you. And now they're selling clothing with SPF in it, so that's really good for us. It's a little bit expensive, but it'll help us. And we have ointments that help us with the pain. Many ointments and low dose meds that help reduce pain and swelling. So, you have to take this medicine. they tell us for the rest of our life because we don't have a cure for lupus. So we're hoping we get a cure so we can stop this medicine. When you do start medicine, Plaquenil, or the generic name is hydroxychloroquine, when you start that medicine, your ophthalmologist should be checking your eyes. And a lot of people with lupus do not know that. Your doctor should be telling you, check your eyes, because Plaquenil or hydroxychloroquine can go into your eye and damage your retinas. So you want to check your eyes before you start the medicine, and then every 6 months, every year, you want to go back and see an ophthalmologist, not an optometrist. Optometrist gives us glasses or contacts. Ophthalmologist dilates your eyes and looks, way back into your eyes to check your retina. To continue with cutaneous lupus, photosensitivity. If you have that, which I do, that causes exhaustion, migraines, rashes, pain, flare-ups. I don't have on here fevers. It's photosensitivity is so bad for us. That's why they tell us to avoid the sun. So to avoid being outside from 10 in the morning to about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And if you're in water constantly at the pool, at the beach, or, getting wet at home or in a fountain, then you want to constantly apply the sunscreen. And I didn't say that the women that usually get this the most common are childbearing age women. So women between, the early teens to about 40, 45. We get a lot of people now in their 20s, and even I have a 7-year-old, an 11-year-old. So it's even, starting before the childbearing age. And it's pretty scary to know that a 7-year-old is living with the same illness that I am at the age of 48, because it is very difficult. And I've been living with these illnesses, my autoimmune, for this year will be 11 years. There is another lupus. It's called drug-induced lupus. There's a list of medicines that when you start taking them, it can give you your ANAs, and you can start getting the signs of lupus, but it's temporary, because once a doctor catches on that you've gotten lupus because of that medicine, when they take you off, then your lupus, your lupus symptoms and everything should go away. So there's a list. There's a list of those meds. I mean, of those, those meds. Another one is neonatal lupus, and that is when a woman is pregnant, her antibodies go into the child. And so not until the child is born and starts, developing their own antibodies, then the lupus, about 6 months to 8 months, then it'll go away. But it can cause the baby to have skin rashes, liver problems, low blood count. So if you are pregnant, or if you're thinking about, being pregnant, getting pregnant, Plaquenil, I have heard that Plaquenil, and I've read that it's the safest medicine for women that want to have babies. You will be a high risk. The doctors will be watching you just to make sure that everything is okay for you and baby. And let's talk a little bit about Lupus Society of Illinois. We call it LSI, sorry, LSI. It promotes awareness and complements the work of healthcare professionals. They provide webinars, they provide educational events, and they're free to us. We have our walks, like Lisa mentioned. We have 2 walks this year, and those are our biggest fundraisers. That's so we can provide support groups and grants for lupus patients, and the webinars and educational events, pamphlets, all this literature. And so it's the longest and oldest organization in Illinois to help the lupus community. LSI is a 501c3 nonprofit health agency. So every donation helps, and it helps us patients, and it helps our caregivers because they provide so much education for just not us, but our caregivers. And we no longer feel alone when we come to this community with the LSI. If it's support groups, if it's meeting people at educational events, wherever it is, you don't feel alone anymore. When I was diagnosed, the doctor just told me, hook yourself up with Lupus Society of Illinois because that'll be the best, group for you to get your answers, your questions answered. And it was true. Our resources, we have practical resources, emotional resources, financial, and government. And we'll talk about each one. Our practical ones is how to talk to your doctor. We have lupus symptom tracker. We have articles we can help you with. Many people out there don't know about lupus, never heard of it, think it's cancer, think if I touch them, it's contagious, and it's not. It's not contagious, and it's not cancerous. I don't know why people think, if it's inside or something, they're like, oh, I heard you have cancer. And I'm like, I don't know who told you I have cancer, but I have everything else in the book, but I don't have cancer. So it's not cancerous and it's not contagious. Don't think because you'll see people with the rashes on their face, rashes on their skin, like Seal, the singer Seal, he has the rash, the cutaneous lupus rash on his cheeks. Many people think just because he's African American that maybe it's something with Africa, and it's not. It's because of his lupus. Many people don't know he has lupus, but he does have that. So we can help you with those resources. And with the educational events, like I mentioned, the websites, if you look on lupusil.org, we have so many articles and things that that we have checked into it and we know that they are legit articles. Just not, when people find out they have lupus, they go online and they see the craziest things and then they get terrified. It's a death sentence, and it's not. I know so many people that have been living with this for over 50 years, over 30 years. It's something that we can live with. It's not a death sentence. We can live with it. It's just going to be painful, have our difficult days, and it can bring depression and anxiety. But if you have the community that we have, if you reach out to us, we can get you what's it called? Brain fog is one of the big symptoms, and brain fog is when you forget what you want to say. That's one of the symptoms. We can connect you with a support group leader in your area. We have about 10 of them, and I facilitate 3 out of the 10. They're either in person or on Zoom. So you can be anywhere in the United States and the world, and you can log on to our Zooms. So it's awesome. We're here to help. And more practical ones, I can help you with social media, pharmaceutical companies. That is, if you are not getting your medicine, we can go on, we would suggest, go on social media and talk about you not being able to get your medicine. Go on there. If you can't afford your medicine, you can also talk to the company and ask them, is there any way you can help me? I can't afford it. I'm not working. Because a lot of us had to quit our 9-to-5 jobs. There's no way I can do a 40-hour week or more in a week with all these illnesses. The fatigue alone and the pain is horrible. I can also help you with Medicaid, Medicare, with Social Security and prescription assistance. I'm here to help because after I had to quit my job, I had to, you feel worthless because it's just like, okay, I got all this education and now I can't even use it at a 9-to-5 job. So this is the best way because it's something that I live with and I've educated myself so much with. I used to be a navigator for the city and for the state. So I used to be a navigator. So now I can use those skills that I have and education that I have in that, helping others that have lupus and had to quit their jobs and now have to file for all these, government health insurance. So I'm here to help. And if there's something I can't help you with, I can always go and find someone that can help you with, with answering your questions. Our emotional, it's connecting you with me, with the Navigator, support groups, individual peer support, and share your story. It's very powerful when you share your story because you hear it out loud and you can, teach others because like when you hear your own story, you're like, wow, I thought, I like hearing it helps you understand it more. It helps you accept it more. A lot of people are they're in denial and they don't want to mention that they have lupus, so it's not true. And it's hard because you don't want the systemic lupus erythematosus, that SLE, to, you don't want to just like ignore it and then it's going to affect your organs, because 50% of people that have SLE, the systemic one, get lupus nephritis, and that's when the lupus affects your kidneys. You don't want to be on dialysis because of your lupus. You don't want to be on a list for, waiting for a kidney because it's so difficult. I have so many friends, lupus warriors, that are on the list for a kidney transplant because the lupus is attacking their kidneys. And dialysis is, I've seen people live get dialysis, that's no joke. It's very serious. Like I said, we have like about 10 support groups, and they're in person and online on Zoom. And if you are not comfortable speaking in a group, I always tell people you can get on and you could turn off your camera and just listen and see if I feel comfortable enough with that group, then I'll share my story. If you are really uncomfortable just listening to a group, you just wanted to speak to someone, you can send us an email and I can call you, I can Zoom with you, or I can text with you or email, and it's just, you and I just speaking, so that you can feel comfortable enough with at least one person, and then seeing from there if if you want to join a support group. It feels better, and to me it felt so much better. I, like Lisa said, I have the support from my family, and listening to other people with the same pains, with the same fatigue, it helps me so much better to know that I'm not alone. And to hear other lupus caregivers say, it's hard. It's hard to take care of someone with this invisible and unpredictable illness. So it's good. It's good for my caregivers, which is my mom and my daughter, to listen to them and to listen to other lupus patients. Our financial resources, living with lupus grants. If you have lupus, if you live in the state of Illinois, just not in Chicago, if you live in the state of Illinois, you can provide us with our application filled out by you and by your doctor and a photo ID. And you can email, you can fax, you can provide us with all that information, and we can possibly help you with $400 for medical related expenses. Many times we can't take a test because we don't have the health insurance, or we don't have money for that test, any exam, any things like that we can help you with. And if you're interested in that, just send me an email. At the end, I'll give you my email and my office number, and then we can help you with that. So we're here to help you with that. $400 to some people might not be a lot, and other people, it's a huge chunk that we takes off burden from us lupus patients, that we don't have to think about, where am I going to get $400 for my exams or for anything that, my that the doctor needs. other financial assistance, we can connect you with Catholic Charities. They help with utilities, they help with clothing, they help with prescriptions. So it's really good. Catholic Charities helps with a lot of people, just not lupus patients. So it's a little bit harder. I've called Catholic Charities to ask, for other people for help, and they always say call super early in the morning and get us in the morning so that we can help you. Even I don't want to say it, but even burial. If you know someone that has passed away and you don't have funds to bury them or to cremate them, Catholic Charities can help a huge amount too. Some people don't know about that, but that is, something that they're there to help us with. And financial assistance with prescriptions. These are some websites that can help you. Some people don't have health insurance, and these prescription how do you call it? These prescription, see, brain fog again. Um, they have coupons. They have coupons, and you can even speak to your pharmacy and say, I don't have the funds. And a lot of pharmacies have coupons that they will help your bill for your medicine to either be zero or to be cheaper, way cheaper than they were going to charge you. So these are different websites that you can check out, and I can help you with that also. Just have a list of your medicine. You have to have your prescription from your doctor, and we can see what we can do with that, with helping you. Some more financial assistance, CETA. Some of us, because of not being able to work, we can't pay our gas bill, our light bill, rent. These guys can help with with our low energy, with the gas, with the light bill. And even if you get disconnected or if you get a disconnection notice, please reach out to CETA and they can help you. You just need to, that one you do need Social Security card. For us, you don't for our grant, but for CETA, you do need an actual Social Security card. So just to give you a heads up, whoever is living in your home, you need to provide ID and Social Security, but they can help you with your bills. Salvation Army and healthcare.gov for health insurance. And the government resources, we can help you, we can direct you with SSDI and SSI. So we can help you with that also. And some more with Medicare. Medicare with Part A is hospitalization, and Part B, medical, Part C for privately, for supplemental insurance. This is just not for people over 65. I am 48, and I had to go and get Medicare to help me with my 30 meds that I have. So it's hard. So we let's see. So it's hard. It's a little bit, in the beginning it was a little bit embarrassing being in your 40s and having that card. But if I didn't have that card or Medicaid, how in the world would I be able to see my amazing doctors and have the tests that I need and all the medicines? There's no way in the world I can afford 30 different prescriptions for all of my illnesses, not working a 9 to 5 job. There's no way. It's very difficult. And that's where the anxiety and the depression kicks in. It's like, okay, I'm not working. How am I going to pay for rent? How am I going to pay, if I have kids? I don't have little kids, thank God. My daughter's grown. She's 29 and she's working. So thank God that my illnesses came after she was already in college by the time I got sick. I know so many lupus patients that have toddlers, that have preteens, and it's so hard. It's just like, that's where it's like, the anxiety, where am I going to come up with all this money? So if you need someone to talk to, if you just want to talk one-on-one, if you want to talk in a support group, we are here. If you need health insurance, I'm here to help you, apply for that. And I have had people that I have helped with health insurance and they got approved the next day. I mean, it's not always like that, but I I don't know. People tell me, Marty, you've got skills because you're helping me with health insurance and Link. If you need help with Link, being with all of these autoimmune, the doctors tell you go gluten free. It'll help you. So true. They tell you you have to eat foods that are less inflammatory foods. All those food, gluten free food is all so much more expensive than the stuff that a lot of times we get and does damage to us. With the link card, which is also SNAP, which is also food stamps, they have so many different names for the same thing. It can help you to buy these expensive foods so you can live, a little bit with less pain because the inflammation causes pain. I'm not a doctor. Everything that I do is not going to help you, but let me tell you, gluten-free has helped me so much. Now I'm seeing a dietitian, so she is helping me with lowering, trying to lose weight and trying to eat less foods that are going to cause me to have inflammation. So if I didn't have these health insurances, I couldn't see her. I couldn't see my amazing rheumatologist, my amazing doctor, my ophthalmologist, like I told you. The ophthalmologist is the specialist. I wouldn't be able to see my neurologist. I tell everyone, even in my support group, I tell everyone, we are the nucleus and all of our doctors are out here. So we are the ones that keep all of our doctors linked up. And so they know what's going on with this doctor because taking all these medicines, it's just not one doctor prescribing them, it is all of them. So they all need to know, okay, well, Madi is getting this, so I can't give her this, or she's getting this. So it's, we're the nucleus in the middle. Um, Now I'm sorry, I go off a little bit. So with government resources, with the ACA and joint state and federal programs, the strict requirements, that one need basis. The kids are, what do they call it? Man, something with the kids always have health insurance. Mothers that are pregnant we can get, when we're pregnant, we can get WIC, we can get food stamps, we can get Medicaid. But once we have the baby it's called all kids. See the brain fog, and you get the words, but they come back a little late. But so that's good to know. Women that are pregnant, they can get WIC and it'll help them with food and with, nutritional food to keep you more healthy while you're pregnant. Then once you give birth, I believe your baby still gets the WIC. You will lose it, but and then your baby will have health insurance. So, different things that can help you. And talking about those things, the Illinois Department of Public Health, they have the TANF. That's if you're a young mom with kids and you don't have a lot of money, then they can help you with cash assistance. They can help you with the food stamps, like I said, or the link, or SNAP. Now that's called SNAP. And with um, aid to age blind and disabled, Earnfare, the tax credit. So Illinois Department of Public Health, which is also called the Public Aid Office. A lot of people talk negative about them, but like I said, without them, I would not be here. I would not be able to afford all my medicines and afford my doctors. So Some people talk negative about them, and I always praise them. And anytime I have an interview, anytime I have an interview over the phone or in person, I always teach the case manager what lupus is, what fibromyalgia is, how it affects me, the Raynaud's and Children's, how it affects me, and the reason why I can't work a 9 to 5 job. But doing the navigator job, it's working on my time that I am not ill, the times that I am more awake and not walking, like if I have sandbags, or I read somewhere, some lady says, um, I walk like I'm trying to run in molasses. And I'm like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. I always say my arms and legs have sandbags and I'm trying to, walk with these sandbags. So that's my fatigue. So I explain it to them and they understand a little bit more. And then I have my doctors fill out letters saying, she can't work a 9 to 5 job. It's a miracle if she can't even do 20 hours a week because now with SNAP, they want you they're raising the age of if you get SNAP, you have to work at least 20 hours a week. I can't do that. So I had to get my rheumatologist, which is the lupus specialist, and he had to write a letter saying there's no way her body can do this. And that's when I explained what Raynaud's and lupus and children's and Raynaud's and fibromyalgia are. And I literally had the case manager crying and going, how in the world do you even live? Like, and a lot of people say, well, you don't look sick. And I tell them always, I'm gorgeous out here. You have no clue the hell that I feel inside my body. That is where the pain is at. But I don't show it out here unless I get the rash on my face. But many times people don't know. They'll look at me and be like, Mari, are you in pain? And now I'm starting to show my painful days. And before I could play it off and I could just smile and you had no clue I'm in pain. But it's good for people to know, and it's so good for people to understand, and get to know that you will lose some friends because they will never understand our illness and our times of when they say, Mari, can you go out on Friday? And I tell them, right now, I will say yes, because I really want to go out with you. But I really have to wait till that day and see how I'm feeling. If I use too many spoons on Thursday, Friday, I'm done. I'm not going anywhere. So I have friends that know this and they'll be like, Mari, don't use too many spoons on Thursday because I really want to try to see you on Friday. So those are amazing friends that understand. They don't get upset if I have to cancel last minute. They don't get upset or embarrassed if I'm using my cane. Being sick for almost 11 years, I've had to use my wheelchair once. Um, and it was sad. It was a little bit depressing. It was a little bit embarrassing to have my daughter have to push me on a wheelchair. Um, but my comadre said she's on a wheelchair and she said, I'm sorry you're on a wheelchair, but now I know I'm not alone. And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly, my tears come out all the time. That's exactly how I feel when I go to support groups, when people come to my support groups. I'm not alone. So then that made me feel good that she said that, and she's amazing. So okay. So let's see what else. So they can help with cash. That we're going back to public aid office. They can help with cash and food and childcare if you are able to work, because some of us don't have that option that, hey, I can't work. If some people do have these illnesses and do have to work, public aid can help pay for childcare. Um, they can help with housing, disability and rehab, mental health. Mental health, especially after COVID, mental health is so important, and it's so now it more people are talking about it before everyone was shy about it and embarrassed about it and just kept, quiet about it. That let's not be embarrassed, because that's how we are losing so many people to suicide because of mental health. They feel like they don't have anyone to talk to, and we're here. We listen. Um, Many times we that want someone to listen, we just want you to listen. Just let us vent. Just listen. We don't expect you to solve and make me, cured from all these illnesses. I don't expect that from anyone. Just listen and just let me vent. Let me get it off my chest, and try not to judge me. And that's it. That's all we ask for. So I need to stop with these tears. Okay. Um, Other personal assistance for anyone with lupus related questions. So we have fact sheets, we have legal issues, help you with insurance, disability, men and lupus. Like I said, only 10% of us lupus patients are men. So I know a few men with lupus, and they have their own support groups. They have their own organizations. Matter of fact, right now, unfortunately, both of them are in the hospital. One is on the East Coast, one is on the West Coast, and they got to know each other, and they both have their own organizations, and now they got together and made an organization together. And unfortunately, like I said, they're both in the hospital, so just keep your prayers out there for them. So sorry. And this is my information. This is my email, Mari@lupusil.org, and my office number, 312-542-0005. Now that number, I'm not sitting in the office. That number goes directly to my cell phone. So don't think that you have to, wait for office hours. If you call me, and if you don't reach me, if I can't answer, then you could just leave me a voice message, and I'll get back to you. You can always email me, and I will get back to you. So if you email lupusil.org, they will transfer, they'll send me the email, and I'll get back to you. So well, let's see. That is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free. Um, I see Jenny and Mom. I don't hear you, Lisa.
I'm so sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, I did mute because my next door neighbor has a lot of dogs. Sorry. Okay, so a few questions did come in, but I first wanted to say that was really great. So much great information. I'm sure everyone learned a few things in there. I did ask in the comments for some questions. So if you do have questions, please comment them now. But a few came in and a few comments. I don't know if you saw things popping up, Mari, as we went, but a couple things. So they'll pop up on the screen here. So Jenny said the spoon theory is so true. Now I use the spoon theory for my therapy over my MS. So that is great.
Yes.
And
I
then
shared my spoons. My mom and my daughter and I make spoons, and we share it with anyone that is in my team for the walk. If they come to my support group, or any of my doctors or physical therapists or dietitian or my counselor, anyone that I use a lot of energy with, I always share my spoons. And Jenny has she has been at my support group, and she also is in my sign language class. And like she says, she has MS. So I mailed everyone in my sign language class a spoon. So it's a purple spoon, plastic spoon, and then it has the we hot glue a magnet in the back so you can put it on your fridge or on your file cabinet. Then it has the purple ribbon for lupus, and then we hot glue a butterfly for the butterfly rash right in the middle of our spoon. So I always tell them thank you for allowing me to use my spoons with you, and I always give that to them. So
I have one here on my desk as well. You can.
yeah. I just was in Washington, D.C. with another company and talking about having lupus, being a lupus advocate and a lupus patient. And I took spoons with them, and I didn't know those people until those 3 days in Washington, D.C. And we sat for dinner, and I gave each one of them um, a spoon and a little purple ribbon and told them that was a very difficult trip, having these autoimmune and flying, traveling, packing before, preparing before, traveling for those few hours, back and forth, and then taking Ubers here and there and walking all over. It's a lot. And to be with these other advocates for other illnesses, I was the only one with lupus and Sjogren's. Then there was a gentleman with Sjogren's and a lady with arthritis. So we were all speaking. And when we sat for dinner, I'm like, I am sharing my spoons with you. And because they all go through so much of what I go through, our symptoms are always, so alike, with the fatigue and the pain and the mental health and, um, the fevers and stuff. So I love sharing my spoons. And I didn't make up the spoon theory. It was Christine Mezzardino from New York. I want to go to New York and meet her, talking about traveling. I want to go to New York and meet Christine, or even meet her on a Zoom, and just tell her how much the spoon theory has not only helped me, but my family, everyone in my support group, my friends. It's totally helped me explain it so much better to people so that they can understand and be empathetic to my painful days.
All right. Here's another question that came in. Does the environment make you take away some spoons?
Oh, the environment, um, like what do you mean? Like,
Um, my guess is it's going to be on like maybe the weather, the
okay,
different seasons, maybe.
yeah, that is true. Because with Raynaud's, I know we're the Lupus Society of Illinois, but Raynaud's, it it's all with the blood vessels, the tiny blood vessels in our fingers, in our toes, in our nose, in our ears, um, and very personal, but we all have them in your chest area, your nipples, and everywhere where there's very thin blood vessels. When you're in the cold, so winter, or even your hand is in the freezer or fridge in the store during the summer, or when you're in a car with AC, when you're in your house with AC. So during the winter, it's very painful. When I'm trying to clean my car, my hands just hurt so horribly. So yeah, so that hurts with the environment of winter. And then the summer seasons, it's so hard with having asthma and having lupus, with being out in the sun, or with the humidity. Being here in Chicago, the humidity is horrible. So, yeah, fall season is my favorite. Spring is not my favorite either. Fall is my favorite one. Spring is hard with all the rain and the humidity there. It causes a lot of pain. So if you're talking about that kind, yes.
All right. Here's a question that came in before you answered it. So if you want to touch on this again, how did you deal with your pregnancy? Did you have a diagnosis before your lovely daughter?
No, thank God. My daughter is going to be 30 on New Year's Eve this year, and I have on October 9th at 1:01 p.m. will be my 11 years of having lupus. So she was already in college. So thank God I got to enjoy her in grammar school and in high school, and I still got to enjoy her in college. What was very scary is when I first was told, and this is the way my doctor told me I had lupus. My PCP, my primary care physician, says, you have some form of arthritis. I'm going to send you to a rheumatologist, and here are your test results from your blood. I said, okay. So I go to this rheumatologist. Thank God he told me to connect with you guys, because all he said to me is he's looking at my results and he goes, you have lupus, right? I knew one person in this world with lupus, and that's it. And it was nothing positive she had to say about lupus. It was destroying her. She's still here, but it was destroying her. And I just thought, I'm going to become this woman. And that's what this illness is. And so it was really hard. So I had to break it down, first learn what it was, educate myself, and then I went and I waited till my daughter came home for a weekend. And there was no way I was going to tell her living in the Quad Cities, 3.5 hours away from me, over the phone, hey, just let you know I have this disease, that there's no illness, no cure, and it's a horrible disease. But no way. So I educated myself. Then I broke it down to my mom and my brother and my nephew first, and I said, I don't know what I have, but the doctor says I have lupus. I have no clue what it is. Let me do my research on it, and then let me be able to tell my daughter. So no, thank God Yamari was grown, and I was very scared that I said, let her please turn 21 and let me dance with her one time at the club because I'm thinking I'm going to become that lady, can't walk, can't do anything. But thank God my daughter and I have danced many, many times. And I still dance a little bit with her, but then I'd be like, oh, girl, my legs are hurting. She's like, mine too. Let's sit down. So I'm happy that she gets tired too. It's just not me.
All right. And a couple comments came in just thanking you so much. I'm still looking to learn more. And here's another comment from Kay. Thank you for sharing such important information. I appreciate you. And
Thank you, hon.
here's another question. How do you know when to reach out to your doctor between visits? I'm never sure what I just have to put up with as far as symptoms, and what should I be seeking help for? That's a great question.
Yeah, I use Patient Portal all the time. Anytime I see a new doctor, I always ask them, do you have Patient Portal? And which is the best way? And I always ask them, which is the best way before my next appointment for me to get in contact with you? Is it better for me to call and speak to your nurse, or do you have a patient portal? Because when I get a rash, when I get inflammation on my hands or on my feet or anywhere, I take pictures of it and I send it to my rheumatologist and to my PCP. And I say, listen, this is what's going on right now. Do you suggest I come in and see one of you? And I also let the PCP know that I'm sending it to my rheumatologist. And the rheumatologist is in charge of my lupus, fibro, Sjogren's, and Raynaud's. And I always tell them, I'm letting the other doctor know. Can you guys suggest, do you need to see me, or can you just call me and we can talk over the phone? But Patient Portal is the best thing. And if there's something that you can't figure out on your own, it's better to email them and know that they can give you a simple answer, or they can tell you, hey, that's something serious, you need to come in and I'm booked, but I'm going to make an emergency appointment for you. I rather not annoy them, but I rather reach out to them. Than It's better, that you do that than later on be sorry and be like, no, I'll just wait for a month. Because when you go and see them next month or in 6 months, you don't have any of the rash, you don't have any of the swelling, you're not in pain, and you're like, I wanted to see you. But I always do that. On my phone, I also have a check-in. It rings at 2 o'clock every day, and it says, how are you doing? And there's an app on my phone, Dailyo, and I always put on there, my feet are swelling, I'm tired, I've got a fever, or I got the rash, or I'm exhausted, Or I can put on there, I feel great. I have no migraine. I have no pain today, but I put down everything on there because when I go see the doctor, they're going to ask me, how have you been feeling? And then I can go to my Dailyo and it'll tell you, you grade your days on green to red. Donna Oram taught me, she's a author from When Lupus Throws You for a Loop, and she taught me the red light, green light, yellow light. So that's on the Dailyo. You can tell, if your days are hard or not. So, oh yeah, the patient portal is the best thing, and always it's better to ask no question is a stupid question when it comes to your health.
Yeah, I'll second that patient portal. I live with the lupus warrior, and we've had to call the office, and they say, the person scheduling is like, oh, next available appointments in 5 months, and then you can go on the portal and ask those questions, like you said, and the doctor will say, like, I need to see you, or maybe go for some blood work. They'll they'll work you in. So I think that's super important, that patient portal, and having that relationship with your doctors that you can, figure out what you need in that moment. So,
and get very personal get really close to the nurses, because there's so much, you have more of a relationship with your nurse than with your doctor. And with the nurses, they can get you in faster. I always say, I say that I'll be like, I don't even say this is Maria. I say this is Mari, and they already know me. They're like, okay. And my doctor always said, with Advocate, I have my doctors at Advocate. They always say, we have to, with their new rules, they have to check their emails and respond to the emails. So that's really good. So I don't know if all hospitals have that, but patient portal is amazing.
All right. Well, with that being said, no other questions came in, so I think we will wrap it up. Again, we want to thank you, Mari, for all your resources and education and knowledge on lupus. And like she did mention, at LSI, we are here for all of you. So you can reach out to Mari, you can reach out to me, Mary, Charles, anyone at the office. We're always here to listen, help any way we can. We have these great events. So just to recap, we do have a Spanish speaking event coming up on June 15th in Pilsen. Mari will be there. So we're very excited for that. I will be there as well, but I do not speak Spanish, so I'm just there to support.
Your baby will be speaking Spanish before you.
Right. And then we also have our walks coming up. So we did mention that we have one in Naperville on August 12th, and we have one in Chicago on September 30th. Again, that's a great way to come out, meet other lupus warriors, connect with the community. We have great fun prizes, a lot of great incentives and everything coming. So we hope to see you guys all soon. And we're very excited for everything. So just give us a call and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. So Thank you so much and have a great night.
Thank you. And on social media, you can find me at Lupus Spoons. Lupus Spoons 2.0, and Las Cucharas de Lupus. Those are the names of our support groups. So look for me on social media on Lupus Spoons.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.